let's go and find the x and the y-intercepts of this rational function fast. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing I hate more as a teacher when I show students how to do something and I give them an understanding of why we're doing it. They forget the understanding of why we're doing it and they apply it incorrectly on their test or on their homework. So as a teacher, I have to do my duty to explain why it is this is going to work so you can find the x and the y-intercepts fast, okay? So bear with me, but this is critically important, probably more important than showing you how to do that fast. But don't worry, I will show you exactly what to be able to do to find the x and y-intercepts fast. But it's really, really important that you understand when I want to find the x and the y-intercepts, there's two things we need to know. To find the x-intercept, that is going to be when f of x is equal to 0. Or if it's in an equation, you could say when y is equal to 0, right? Doesn't really matter. So let's go to a simple just equation just to make this all make sense. If I had y equals a 3x plus 8, all right? And I said, all right, what is the x-intercept? All we simply need to do is replace y, or if this is a function, it would be f of x, replace that with 0. So now I have 0 equals a 3x plus 8. Now I only have one variable and I can go ahead and solve. Subtract the 8, divide by 3, x equals a negative 8/3. I can now write that as a coordinate point of a negative 8/3, comma 0, right? Because remember, the x-intercept is on a line. If we look at this, that's a really bad x-axis. So that's the x-axis, that's the y-axis. So it has to lie on this. There's no, remember, these are just number lines, horizontal number line, vertical number line. On the horizontal number line, the y value is equal to 0. So I just go over negative 8/3, and that's going to be my negative, or negative 8/3 would technically be like, well, we're not doing tick marks here and there, but hopefully you see like that'd be the idea. Now, if I want to be able to identify the y-intercept, it's the exact opposite. For the y-intercept, that is going to be when x is equal to 0. I don't know why I'm writing it like that. That is going to be when x is equal to 0. So let's go and take a look at here. In this example, it's a little bit easier. Y is equal to a 3 times 0 plus 8. Okay, so therefore y is equal to 8, or I can write that as a coordinate point of 0, 8, right? Because again, on the y-axis, the x value is 0. So therefore we'd have something like that if I was going to plug in my y point or my y-intercept. Now again, this is not the scale, so don't write me down in the comments about the scaling of my graph. I'm just showing you a general idea to at least understand that one variable is equal to 0 and the other value is going to give you a value when you're trying to identify the x and y-intercepts. Now, why am I going through this? Because ladies and gentlemen, I don't care if we're talking about a linear, a quadratic, a cubic, the square root, the reciprocal function, logarithmic, sine, cosine, tangent. All functions are going to follow this rule, okay? So while I'm going to show you a way to be able to do this quickly, if you are confused or if you want to check your work, just go ahead and follow that and memorize it because, ladies and gentlemen, that is so critically important to make sure you know and understand. Because once I show you how to do this, again, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, students do it incorrectly. And I'll show you a couple ways that students will do it incorrectly, but also I have another video where I'll go through some of the common mistakes that students will make when finding the x and the y-intercepts, all right? Now, again, let's break this down, doing it the way that I just taught, and then you'll be able to see how exactly to do it fast. So therefore, you can skip over everything and just go immediately over to that next step. So if I was going to find the x and the y-intercepts, again, x-intercept is going to be when f of x or y is equal to 0. So if I look at this, I plug 0 in for my f of x, and I'm simply going to have a negative 7 minus 6x plus x squared, and that's going to be all over a x squared plus x plus 3. Now, let's go back a little bit further, and let's do something maybe a little bit easier. I'll maybe do something in the green. What if I had the equation of 0 is equal to an x over 3? How would you solve that? Well, if I want to get x isolated, I got to undo what's happening to x, right? I can see my x is being divided by 3. So my process that I do is I'd multiply by a 3 on both sides. So therefore, 3 times 0 is just going to be 0 is equal to x. Now in this case, if I want to solve for x, I got a big issue, right? Not only do I have multiple x's, but I also have x's in the numerator as well as in the denominator. So we never solve for x in the denominator, right? So we have to get that off the denominator. Just like I have to get this 3 off the denominator. Or if you want to think about it this way, if I had like 5 is equal to a 1 over x, how do you solve for x? You got to get x off the denominator. How do you get x off the denominator? Multiply by an x on both sides. Now I have a 5x is equal to 1, and now I can use my inverse operations to go ahead and solve, right? So what we're going to do is apply that thinking. I need to get these x squared plus x plus 3 off the denominator. So what I'm simply going to do is multiply both sides by what's in my denominator. Now, the cool thing is we know on the left-hand side, that's just going to be multiplied by 0. Every single time, actually, when we're trying to find the x-intercept, whatever's in my denominator, I actually don't care about. Not really. We'll talk about that later. But if for the purpose of finding the x-intercept, I know when I multiply my denominator on both sides, over here, it's going to be the division property. They're going to divide out. And on the left-hand side, it's going to multiply by 0. So therefore, what I'm going to get is I am simply going to get my whatever is in my numerator equal to 0. So ladies and gentlemen, when you want to find the x and the y-intercept, you can just skip over doing all this work. You can skip over all this explanation. But what you simply want to do is just take your numerator equal to 0. Now, I don't like writing it like this. I wanted to make sure I provided something that, some students that kind of had an idea what to doing, wasn't immediately going to be able to, recognize it and say, oh, this is too easy. I'm, skip over this. But again, when you have a problem like this, just because it's the quadratic is not written in standard form, you can go and rewrite it, right? 3 plus 4 is the same as 4 plus 3. Just make sure that you keep the signs. If I said 3 minus 4, I don't want to say that as 4 minus 3, right? Because subtraction is not cumulative. So I need to write that as 4 minus 3 would be negative 3 plus 4, right? So just make sure you keep the signs together. Notice that's a negative 7 and that's a negative 6x. So therefore, this is going to be an x squared minus a 6x minus 7. Now I recognize a quadratic. I know my three options for quadratic. I could do factoring, I could do completing the square, or I could do the quadratic formula. Let's go and start with factoring. What two numbers multiply to give me negative 7, but we're going to add to give me a negative 6. And hopefully you guys can see that's going to be an x minus 7 times a x plus 1. Now I can apply the zero product property to set them both equal to 0. So therefore I can now go ahead and solve. So x is equal to 7 and x is equal to negative 1. And now I can rewrite those as x-intercepts. So therefore that's a 7 comma 0. And this one's going to be a negative 1 comma 0. And voila, ladies and gentlemen, we are good to go. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the y-intercept. Now again, we talked about y-intercept, we know is going to be when x is equal to 0. Okay, so again, you can work this out, guys. It does not take that much work. Okay, so again, I love to show students ways to be able to do this quickly. But again, students will make mistakes all the time. And again, I'll go over that in the next video. So if you, after this video, if you want to go and check out the mistakes that I see students make with x and y intercepts, then go ahead and check it out. But if I was to go ahead and plug in a 0 for all of my x's, something interesting is going to happen every single time. Because whenever you plug, I don't know why I'm putting an x in there. But remember, whenever like 0 times anything is going to be 0. Right? 0 plus anything is going to be that anything. So what I want you to recognize is when I'm plugging 0 in for x's, which I didn't do up here, I said it, but then I actually didn't do it. So now I got to actually go and fix that. So my apologies for you. So that's going to be a 6 times 0, and that's going to be 0 squared. Well, ladies and gentlemen, look what happened. Look what's going on. That goes to 0, that goes to 0, that goes to 0, that goes to 0. Minus 0 is just going to be 0. So I'm now left with my only numbers that I had, right? A lot of times we say that the constants. So I have an fx equals a negative 7 over 3. Voila, we're done, right? I can rewrite that as a coordinate point of 0 comma negative 7/3. So the rule that you want to be able to do, if you want to do this fast for the x-intercept, just take whatever's in your numerator, set it equal to 0. For the y-intercept, all you simply need to do is take your constant over your constant. Basically, just take the numbers. Anything that has an x in it is going to go to 0. So just take your number over your number and just be careful of the signs. But ladies and gentlemen, doing this, every single problem is going to be a little bit different, right? I picked up a problem that you've probably never seen. So if you want to get better at this, you want to be able to do this fast, you need practice. Don't just do one problem, two problems, or even watch a YouTube video like this. What you need to do is practice. That's why I created a quick little sheet that you can go and work on. You can download it for free in the description of this video and go and actually apply this. So therefore, you go through the motions and trust me, you are going to get better at finding the x and the y intercepts fast. Now, if you're a little curious on what mistakes that students make that I've seen in the classroom time and time again, then check out the next video I have for you here. Cheers.